What's going on, guys? It's John here from Hot Take Hockey, and if you're new, please subscribe to the channel. We're getting so close to the Christmas time here, and we want to get to 2,500 subscribers. Of course, 3,000, we're on the road to 3K, but please subscribe to the channel, support us here, drop a like, and comment your opinions on this video, because this video is about Vladimir Tarasenko and the possibility of the Boston Bruins going in to trade talks with the St. Louis Blues for his services. So Joe Haggerty of NBC Sports Boston suggests in an article that it's become very obvious that the Boston Bruins need help up front, especially with Bergeron out. It has become very clear that they lack a lot of offense after the first line. So for this Boston Bruins team, they're pretty set on defense. This goalie tandem of Rask and Halak seem like they could handle a long playoff run. So this forward group for the Boston Bruins, as much as they're very deep, Haggerty suggests that they lack a good punch on that second line. So go check out the article. He basically says, want to be bold, Bruins, want to really try to make a run this season in a loaded division. Let's see what you can do to bring Vladimir Tarasenko to Boston now that he's available. So at this point, it is all speculation if Tarasenko is, in fact, available. The St. Louis Blues have struggled, including a 7-2 loss recently to the Calgary Flames. So the Blues, Doug Armstrong, have a lot on the table right now. We've heard the Pietrangelo trade rumors. We've heard the Parayko trade rumors. And now it's getting to Vladimir Tarasenko. And Haggerty's the first to suggest that the Boston Bruins should go in on him. So, you know what? I think initial thoughts, especially if it's on a St. Louis Blues fan side or on a Blues perspective or just maybe an open-sided perspective, that it's just obvious. The Blues would look at two guys like Jake DeBrusk and Charlie McAvoy. I think that's pretty straightforward. But the Bruins, I don't think they're going to give those two guys up. If one of those guys would possibly leave, it could possibly be Jake DeBrusk. I think Charlie McAvoy, out of the few players we could say are untouchable in the Bruins, McAvoy's pretty high on that list. So I don't think they would trade McAvoy in a deal, possibly DeBrusk. But I did put a deal together, and I'm no GM, so bear with me. But these are some pieces that I could see the Bruins giving up, as well as possibly intriguing the St. Louis Blues enough to listen. So this is kind of what I put together. The Boston Bruins acquiring Vladimir Tarasenko and Nikita Soshnikov in exchange for Ryan Donato, Brandon Carlo, Anders Bjork, Kevin Miller, a 2020 first round pick, or 2019, sorry, first round pick, and a 2020 second round pick. So again, it's just me putting a deal together, what I think could possibly look like. Really, at the end of the day, it's obviously going to be inaccurate if a deal like this went down. But Ryan Donato, a very big up-and-coming Bruins, have seen a lot from him so far, especially with a couple injuries. He's played on the third line with Forsbacka Karlsson and Danton Heinen for the last few weeks. Donato's looked really good. Definitely a very young player, 21, 22, that definitely has a bright future to become a top six forward. Brandon Carlo scored his first goal in a season and a half. Very solid two-way defenseman. He's a good 3 or 4 on most teams. So Carlo slots in as that fourth defenseman when all are healthy. Chara's obviously hurt, so when you're going through Krug, McAvoy, Chara, Brandon Carlo's your solid number 4. I think the St. Louis Blues, if you acquire a still fairly young player in Carlo, a right-handed defenseman, it makes them a little more comfortable to possibly deal Pietrangelo or Parayko for some more assets if this team really does want to blow up. So as well as Anders Bjork, who another guy isn't playing on the team right now, but is a very young asset who easily could become a top 6 forward in the future. Bjork and Ryan Donato do have a lot of potential, especially being at the ages that they are and their skill set. So Bjork, I think has a lot more speed, where Donato kind of right now, in the sense, so with the Bruins, actually fits really nicely with the third in the third line. But you got to give up some value, right, if you're looking on the Bruins side. And then the first and second round pick, along with Kevin Miller. Kevin Miller has a $2.5 million cap hit, I believe, this year and next, left on his contract. That essentially would be to try to match up the cap as close as possible. The Bruins have about 4.2 in cap space. Tarasenko has a 7.5 AAV cap hit. So do the math, combined with the players they would be giving up. It would be quite close to having 0 of cap space, but at least fitting it in and having Tarasenko in a possible deep run for the Bruins. So what those new lines would look like in addition to having Tarasenko: Brad Marchand, Patrice Bergeron, David Pastrnak, Jake DeBrusk, David Krejci, Vladimir Tarasenko. So that's exactly what Joe Haggerty of NBC Sports suggested in his article. That as a top 6, he thinks that top 6, and I agree, would be very dangerous. It would definitely compete with the Lightning and Leafs top 6 a lot better. I think the only difference with the Bruins, and we've talked about it, is the Bruins have that top line. I think they definitely want to upgrade that second line, and obviously Tarasenko would boost that to an unbelievable level. So that's kind of my just take on where they could take their forward group. And I mean, it's not the focus in this deal, but their new look defense wouldn't be a huge downgrade. John Moore could just slot in as that number 4 defenseman with Chara healthy, and their bottom pair would be Matt Grzelcyk, who's pretty underrated in my opinion, alongside Steven Kampfer, who's played alongside John Moore for the last couple of weeks on that bottom pair. So that is about it for this video. Just wanted to put this into your thoughts. Possibility of Tarasenko getting traded in the Boston Bruins, with Joe Haggerty bringing this up. It's definitely a good thought. And I'm going to keep making more videos like this, guys. So please subscribe to the channel, drop a like, comment your opinions on Vladimir Tarasenko, the issues with the Blues, the Boston Bruins. What do they need? Do you think this is a good fit? Do you think they'll have to give up DeBrusk or McAvoy, or do you think the players that I've mentioned could possibly be enough? With draft picks and prospects, a package like that could be enough to steal Tarasenko from St. Louis. So thank you guys again for watching. Please subscribe. And this is John from Untitled Hockey. Peace out.